Hey, what's up, guys? It's Apollo Uchiha here, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm back with a new story. The name of the story is "What if Naruto was neglected by his family and had multiple bloodlines?" And yeah, guys, it is an unscripted story and my own idea. Now, before continuing this, I'm sorry I didn't upload yesterday. Well, yeah, I have gotten a fever, a bad one, and that is why I couldn't upload. My whole body was aching. I couldn't even, watch my phone or just post a community post that I'm sick or anything. I was resting the whole day. I don't know how the day passed, even I don't even remember a thing. But yeah, as far as I remember, it was a lot of painful day yesterday. So yeah, anyways, I'm back. I have recovered somewhat, so here is a story. Hope you like this one, and if you do, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. And without any further ado, let's begin with our today's story. Our story begins in Konoha Gakure no Sato, one day after the Kyubi attack. As yesterday night was quite an eventful night for the said village. Everything was peaceful until the Kyubi no Yoko descended upon them, out of nowhere. As the shinobis as well as the clan heads dashed towards the outer skirts, evacuating the area and trying their best to stop the Biju. And that is when, in the nick of time when everything was seemed lost, their Kage, Minato Namikaze, arrived. Alongside his wife, both of the husband and wife then sealed the Biju within the two of an infant kids. As now we see the next morning inside the council chambers, the people were praising Minato because not only did he prevent the death of any innocent, he also protected the village as well and sealed away the Biju without any damages. As amongst all those who praised him, one such person was an elder of the said village, Danzo Shimura, who stood up. Everything is nice and good, Minato, but I would like to know one thing. Who is the new Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails? Because of yesterday night, it has become evident that Kushina is no longer the Kyubi's Jinchuriki. As now everyone was silent, as they all turned their eyes towards Minato for an answer. As you all remember, I had triplets last night, me and Kushina. And as Kushina could no longer be the previous Jinchuriki, so we had to make a decision. And it was a tough one, so we had to split the Biju in two halves, yin and yang, and seal it inside our two oldest children, Menma and Mito. You said triplets. What about the soul? They also contain the soul. We were managed to split the soul in yin and yang half side as well, because the Kyubi cannot operate without any soul. It needs to filter its chakra through it before its Jinchuriki can use it. It was thanks to Kushina I was able to find that out and we could implement the seal. Aha, I see. Good thinking, Minato. So that means that your third one is, well, he's normal and when born, he was a little bit weaker than the others two. So that is why we decided that it was not good if we used him because he might actually die. As everyone that understood from a parent's perspective, nobody wanted their child to die. As now the meeting came to an end, as now we see everyone turn back to their home. And so did Minato. As now we see him arriving at his family house, in which his wife and children now resided. As Kushina was tending to the three of the infants, as Minato hugged her. We finally have a family, Kushina. Yes, I know, Minato. I'm happy. And also somewhat worried about Menma and Mito. What do you mean by that, Kushina? They both have now yin and yang half of the Biju. I have spent my life with them, and we used a new seal on them as well, to split the Biju in halves. I know, Kushina, but everything worked out fine, right? But what if it couldn't have? Could have lost our children. Everything has worked out fine, Kushina. You don't need to worry about anything. The seal is working fine. If it had shown any signs of defect, or any signs of Kyubi breaking free, it would have by now shown it. You're right. It's just that I'm worried, Minato. So am I as a parent, Kushina. And that is when we see, inside their house, out of nowhere stood Jiraiya. Well, what do we have here? Huh. You didn't think that a godparent wouldn't visit his godchildren now, did you, huh, Minato? Sensei, when did you came back? As Minato saw that his sensei got serious. As Jiraiya said, I heard what happened last night. You encountered a masked person as well, right? You know about him? He claimed to be Madara, Sensei. As Kushina listened to it attentively. Well, yeah, There has been news going around that a marksperson is trying to recruit shinobis from different villages, telling them that they should just defect. Defect? Why? Why would he want that? I don't know. Who knows, Minato? Nobody knows his game yet, but in due time I will be able to find out. Alright, Sensei. You have to keep me updated. Yeah. Well, aside from that, I'm happy that you have finally become his parents, Minato and Kushina. Congratulations to you, as both of them became happy as well. And after that, we see Jiraiya said, Minato, can I speak for you with a moment separately? As both of them went to his study, as after locking the door, Jiraiya said, You remember about the prophecy, right? The one I told you when you were a kid. Oh, yeah. The red death and yellow flash of Konoha. Does that sound anything to you familiar? Wait, those are our monikers, the people that have given us. Yes, you, the yellow flash, and Kushina, the red death. You're right, Sensei. I never thought about that. Well, I never got a chance to think about prophecy, that's all. Well, no worries about that. Anyways, as I was saying, children born from you, one of them will be the one who will bring great kindness to this world or either destroy it completely. You're right. I know about this prophecy. So do you think that it is either one of them from the three? Well, I do think so, but I think that we might have better chances with the oldest one who have the Biju within them. Why not Naruto, Sensei? As you said, Minato, he is weaker than the other two, and not to be rude or anything, he has a little bit of health issue as well, as much as I heard. Yeah, you're right. He does have. So it's not wise to train him right now. But when they come of age, we have to train them, okay? I will discuss with this Kushina sensei. Alright, Minato, but remember, the prophecy. It is either that he will preserve this world or destroy this world. And we have to make sure that he does preserve this, or she does preserve it. Okay, sensei. I understand. As after that, when Jiraiya left, at night time, Minato discussed this with Kushina, and she too saw that this might make sense because Naruto was a lot weaker, and they were quite worried about him. So in order to protect him, they did something unthinkable. They began to isolate him from the outer world because they were so paranoid that he might get hurt or might be targeted by the people who wanted to get after him. As now we see time begin to pass by as the children begin to grow up, as 5 years have passed after that night, the day of the QB attack. As today was the 5th birthday of the siblings, as Menma and Mita were training in the morning on the backyard of their house, as Naruto was seeing them from his room window, as both parents and the kids were chuckling, as Naruto was feeling left out again, as he sighed, slumping down on his bed, in his own thoughts. Why am I even watching them? Even if I try, they won't even include me. I want to train with them, why can't they see that? As now we see, as the night approached, the birthday party began, as Naruto, as usual, sat on the corner, because he didn't have any friends, and he was almost like an invisible shadow to the people, who always surrounded Menma and Mito, his Nesan and Nisan. As after the party was ended, both of the parents didn't even notice that Naruto has gone back to his room, but his siblings sure did. As now we see both of them arrive at his room with a piece of cake as well as the present that they have prepared for him. As Naruto was happy and found solace in these moments with his sibling because they too were the only ones who ever gave a damn about him in this house, and not only that, they were the closest thing that he could call to a family and friends. As now we see, they spent the whole night together and retreated back to their rooms. And finally, after that night, Naruto gained the courage to talk to his parents. As the next morning, as usual, Kushina was training both of the siblings as Minato has went back to his work. As Naruto arrived, Kachan? Naruto? What is it? Why are you out? I told you to stay inside, son. I want to train as well. As Kushina's eyes widened, as the siblings looked at each other worriedly as they glanced at Naruto and then back at their mother. As Kushina then with a sigh then said, No, Naruto, I'm sorry. You have to remain inside, and when the time comes, when will it come? You have been training Menman, Mito, Nesan, and Nisan for the past 2 years since they were three. I already am quite behind them. Can I can I not start now, son? Said Kushina, taking his face in both of her hands, as she caressed his cheeks and then said, "You know that we care about you, right?" As Naruto nodded. So you have to understand that there are some things that we are doing in order to protect you, and this is one of them. You see, son, you don't have the same strength as your Nisan and Nasan. As Naruto's eyes widened, as did Menma's and Mito's. As Kushina then said, "You are weaker than them, and that is why I don't know how to say this. We can train you right now. We have to focus on your siblings first. And after they're ready, we will focus on you, I promise." As Naruto only just said, "Oh, I see." As he retreated back to the confines of his room in the house, as both of these siblings were taken aback by what their mother had said, as they too, after the training ended, didn't talk to their mother or father, then went straight to Naruto's room, but he didn't open up. As now we see, both of the siblings inside their room were talking to each other. How could she say that? Like what she was telling him was the whole truth. If she didn't want to train him, maybe we can, Nisan. What do you say? Said Mito. We can, but what would happen if they find out? What do you mean, Nisan? What will happen? Not like they're gonna do anything. You're right. So maybe we can train him on our own. Yeah, whatever we learn, we can just teach him the basics and maybe Naruto will be happy this way. As now we see, in the next morning, Naruto, while resting in his room, or more like just staying awake, looking out of the window, with dark circles under his eyes because he was, well, feeling down after what his mother said yesterday. As his siblings approached him, as they arrived through the window, as they said, "Psst, hey Naruto." "Nisan? What are you doing here? Do you want to get in trouble? Get inside," said Naruto, as both Menma and Mito chuckled and went inside. As after that we see, Mito then said, "We have decided, Naruto, since Kachan and Tochan are not going to teach you, how about we teach you in secret, and you can train in your room?" "Really? You mean it?" "Of course," said Menma. "But you have to be careful, okay? Because once you unlock your chakra, it will flare and you have to control it. I don't know how to tell you this, but it is something you have to do on your own. Otherwise, Kachan and Tochan will find out. And they will be mad, okay? They can't find out about this." "Okay, I'll be careful." As after that, they taught him the basics and told him to practice this over and over again until he unlocks his chakra. As they went on to continue his training, Naruto, forever grateful for his siblings, did what he was told in the confines of his room. As suddenly, after trying again and again for the 3 days and continuous, well, cheering from his siblings from the sidelines, he was able to achieve it. A chakra flared so much that cracks were formed on the ground, and Naruto, he couldn't control it and passed out. And instantly, Kushina and both Minato realized that something has happened as they dashed upstairs. As once they arrived there, they saw Naruto passed out. As both Menma and Mito, they were scared and shocked and felt guilty because they were the ones who thought that maybe, just maybe, teaching Naruto something basic will lift him up. But they didn't expect it this much. As Naruto was brought to the hospital, where the doctor told him he accessed so much chakra out of his body and passed out because of chakra exhaustion. It was a close call, Hokage-sama. Otherwise, he would have, As Minato, with narrowed eyes, moved towards his older kids, who were now looking sheepish. "I told you to not tell Naruto anything about training. You see, these are the consequences. We worried about him. He has weak health, and that is why we thought that maybe once he grew up, we can train him in our own way after developing a perfect method. But you were ignoring him, Tochan." "What? What do you mean, Menma? You were ignoring him. We haven't seen him happy since that training began. You only focused on us," said Mito as well. "All the villagers, all our friends, They don't even care about Naruto like he never exists. Even your friends, the council members, they don't see him as anything but a shadow. We hate it. He's our sibling, and you, Gajan, told us we as Uzumakis always should family first before anything or everything. And he's our sibling, and our family, said both of the siblings as well, looking at their parents' eyes. As the parents were taken aback by that, but Minato and Kushina then said, "We know, and that is why we are telling you this. Please, don't teach him anything without us knowing, okay? See, it was a close call. Naruto could have died." As both of the siblings' eyes were widened after hearing these words, they didn't want this to happen and felt now guilty for teaching him something that could have caused him death without proper training or guidance. I never thought that this might happen, Tojan. As Menma was shaking badly because of the fear that he was feeling of losing his little brother because of his own mistake. Now promise me, Menma, Mito, it is for Naruto's good that you won't ever teach him anything again. Unless we say so. Oh, okay. Okay, but why shouldn't we? You have seen what might have happened, right? What makes you think that this won't happen again if you go and do something behind our back? As both of the children were now traumatized and were finally able to give in to both of the parents' words. And once Naruto woke up, he also met the Naruto gaze of his parents. "You worried us quite a lot, Naruto. I told you that we will teach you once you come of age. See, that is why we were telling you that you are weaker than your siblings. You have a health issue, Naruto. You can't produce that much chakra," said Minato. As he then said, "I have decided, Naruto. You're not going to be a shinobi. You're not going to be involved in the shinobi world." As Naruto's eyes widened, "But I know buts, Naruto. You could have died, and I would not lose my family or a child because of his dreams that can get him killed," said Minato, "and that is final." And with these words, we see Minato left as Kushina, with a sad face, then said, "You should listen to your family, Naruto. Please don't cause us any more worry. I can't take it. I have lost my parents already, my clan, and I'm not going to be able to take a death of my child. So please, don't hope for these dreams that can get you killed," she said, hugging him while crying. As after that, Naruto, with a sigh, decided for the time being. But deep down, even he knew that he was going to be a shinobi, and always wanted to be. As now we see time begin to pass by. As years went on, we see Menma and Mito now graduated at the age of 13 from the academy, becoming Genins. And they, after that event, have distanced themselves from Naruto because they feared that if they got in close, Naruto might ask them something about shinobi training, and they, being his siblings, they can't just ignore that. They would tell him, and he might get hurt or even die. And that is the whole reason. With the fear of that, they just put a distance between them, a wall, an invisible one which Naruto couldn't fathom. As now Naruto was completely isolated. His parents, well, tried to be there for him, but they wouldn't understand, and in the end ended up neglecting him for the other two. As now we see Naruto on his own was happy and congratulated them for, well, becoming Genins, and after that he left. As we see him on the outer skirts of the village, sitting all by his own, tears falling from his eyes as he sighed. "Why, man? Why it's gotta be me? Why do I have to be the one like this? Now my siblings, they don't even see me as a family member as well. What's the point? Why am I even here? I should probably go and leave them." Naruto was having thoughts as such until a person approached him. "Why are you down, Naruto?" As Naruto looked up and see that it was Hiruzen Sarutobi, who has noticed him after a long time. "I thought you would be back at home with your family celebrating. Did you not become a Genin with them, or did you fail?" he said teasingly. I never was in the academy, Hiruzen-sama. My parents didn't want me to become a shinobi at all." "What? Why?" As Naruto began to tell him what has happened and what they think might have happened. "Oh, maybe there is a way. as Hiruzen, to cheer up the little boy, tried to teach him for a few weeks, and Naruto was eager to learn from him. And as the weeks went by, Naruto shocked him as he absorbed everything like a sponge. And not only that, his chakra was so potent that if he didn't control it properly, he could have passed out again. But Hiruzen began to teach him chakra control and all that first, before anything after the unlock of his chakra. And after that, he began the chakra exercises. And after 2 years of training at the age of 15, Naruto was a prodigy in his own and was at least up to a high Jonin level shinobi if he wanted to be. But that wasn't the only thing that shocked Hiruzen. It was that Naruto had the ability to tap into some of the bloodlines that didn't make any sense. It is as if he was blessed by Kami itself, because Naruto could use Mokitan as well as Ice Release, and even use Lava Release as well. Three of the most prominent Kekkei and legendary ones in their own rights. As he began to teach Naruto how to use jutsus regarding them, and Naruto was so creative that he created some of his own jutsus as well, and high ranking as well. And this all went down behind Naruto's family's back, because Naruto didn't want to tell them because they might worry or even stop his training, fearing that this might happen. As now we see, Hiruzen then told him while stroking a beard after all of 2 years of training, "You know, Naruto, all you need now is experience, my boy. And as I am a previous Kage, I can recommend you to the Anbu sections and ranks. But you gotta do this on your own after that, after picking an identity." Anbus? Yes, Anbus are our elite forces that operate in the shadows. They leave their identity as a human and shinobi behind. They would do anything or everything in order to make sure that the peace in the nation and in the village preserves, and the balance scale remains the same and doesn't pull to the other side or one. As Naruto nodded, understanding. "So are you ready for this? Because it is going to be quite hard." I am. As after that, Naruto was recommended to Dragon Anbu commander, who took him in, and after seeing his skill, agreed to the conditions of Hiruzen. "I agree with your conditions, Hiruzen-sama. I've seen the kid's strength. It's just weird that Hokage-sama never saw it in him. We tend to ignore a lot what is in front of us, Dragon. Maybe Minato and Kushina did that as well, or maybe it was their protective instinct since he was weak at birth that led them to believe that Naruto was weaker than his siblings." Well, I guess that it is. As after that, Dragon taking Naruto in gave him an identity of Firefly. As after that we see Naruto adorning the mask of such. He went on to become the greatest Anbu, and after 2 years, just 2 more years as he reached at the age of 16, he has become one of the most feared and strongest Anbus from Konoha in the whole elemental nations. Even the Akatsuki were afraid of him, because once he set his eyes on you, there was nothing in his way that could have stopped you. Even if you put a whole army in front of him, and you will be dead, because he will be hunting you down like a predator with primal fear surging through the targets. And after that, once his job is done, he will retreat back into the shadows. As 2 years later, once the bingo book placed him even stronger as the Kages, more than them, as the first bingo book entry, Firefly, age unknown, affiliation Konoha, and triple S rank plus shinobi, and only one word was written there. If you encounter him, that is the only thing that awaits you. As some of his abilities were mentioned there, he was stealthy, used shadows as his ally, and darkness as well, precise attacks as well as assassinations, and not only that, has strength to take down whole armies if wanted to. And aside from that, had 3 bloodlines of its own right: Lava Release, Snow Release, as well as Mokitan. As Minato and the council finding out about this was quite shocked, They themselves along their village did not knew that they had such a prodigy amongst them. As now we see back at home, the siblings as well as both of the parents were seated, as they haven't noticed that Naruto was not there today. As Benma and Mito looked at each other, so he's not home yet again. What is he doing outside such late at night? Doesn't he not know that it's dangerous outside? Said Menma to Mito. It's fine. Let him be. I mean, he's having fun, isn't he? Once you get home, we will talk to him, okay? You're right. He has to understand what we're doing is for the best of him. As now we see Minato, who was deep in thought about Firefly, then Kushina talked to him. What are you thinking about, Minato? It's about Firefly. Firefly? Like what? The ones in nature? No. He's a Anbu from our village. You might have heard about him. He's the #1 ranking bingo book entry, and even stronger than most of the Kages, even me. As everyone was shocked. Wait, what? How come we never heard about him? That is the thing. Neither did I. It was only until the bingo book entry that I found out, and after Dragon confirmed that he really was real and was under his jurisdiction, I was quite surprised. That is so cool, Tojan. How come we never knew about such a powerful and respectful shinobi amongst us? Well, I guess sometimes we tend to overlook then, as that is when the door opened and in came Firefly, adorned in his Anbu gear, covered in somewhat of blood, as he had his mask on. As Minato instantly stood up. Firefly, what are you doing here? Then Firefly took off his marks, revealing Naruto. Oh, hey Tojan, Gajan, Nisan, just back from the mission. As these alone words and his visage shook them to the core. Naruto, wait, you're Firefly? Well, yes, I am. Is something wrong? Come here, sit down, son, said Minato, as Naruto with a raised eyebrow did so as he was told. As they began to ask him questions of since when and how and why didn't he tell them, as Naruto raised his hand. 1, you wouldn't have, listened to me. 2, you would have told me to give up. And 3, you wouldn't have believed so even if I told you. As such, I am Firefly. Now would you have? As all of them remained quiet. And plus you told me yourself that I was weak. Turns out it was because only I have potent chakra that I, if not controlled properly, would have passed out again. Or maybe have died. But son, you could have taught me, yes I know, but I already waited for what? 9 years? You didn't even thought of me for a bit, so yeah, I was sad, sitting there when Nissan and Nason graduated from the academy as Genins, and was thinking that how it was me that was the, end of the straw. And that is when Hiruzen-sama approached me. And to cheer me up, he began to teach me some of basics techniques and found out that I had a kank for it. And in the end, I turned out to be an Anbu instead of a shinobi. Naruto, you're not only an Anbu, you are the most dangerous one that the whole elemental nation fears out there. Tell me, did you... Oh, you mean kill? Yeah, I have. It's not something that I'm proud of, but it is needed for, the peace and the balance scale to properly remain the same. I cannot let the power tip to the other side. We see. So, where have you returned from? Oh, some Akatsuki members were patrolling near the, village. Just took care of them. I don't know why, but something tells me that this is not right. Well, you got that right, Naruto. Something is not right. Oh, Jiraiya. What do you mean by that? Well, Akatsuki, as you know it, is formed by the same masked person that attacked our village all those years ago. And he's the mastermind behind all of this. And they are also doing here, not patrolling, but keeping an eye on the Jinchurikis. Menma and Mito. What? Why? Said Naruto and the others too as well. He told me that he will come back for the Biju, said Kushina. As Naruto then asked, what does this mean? Tell me, Jiraiya. This means, kid, that they want something from the 9 Bijus. 9 Bijus, huh? I've read this in a book. 10 tails. The Bijus emerged from them. As that is when we see Mito was in deep pain as she was taken over by QB itself. You are right, young one. As everyone was shocked, as Mito's eyes turned red with slits. QB, enough, Kushina. You need to listen to me. These Akatsuki members, they're planning to revive the Ten Tails. And you think that if I'm a mindless beast and monster? You haven't seen him. He's much more stronger, huge than me. With a single thrust of its tail, a whole continent will be shaken. As the families were left shocked, and Jiradan said, wait, but what could they want from the Ten Tails? They don't want anything. What? Then why revive it? For her. It's not them who are behind this, or Madara. Now I get it. It's her will that father told us all those years that has escaped into this world before his passing. Whose will? Kaguya Otsutsuki, the mother of the sage of the sixth path. She vowed that she will return and take back what's hers. The chakra that you all use, claiming to be yours. It was actually hers that Sage took and split it to all of you and distributed the Ten Tails' power to us, making us. As everyone was left stunned and shocked, as Naruto said, why tell us this? Because I too would hate to be immersed back with that monster. And I don't want other Bijus to feel the same. So you must protect them. Only you can, Naruto, because of your strength that I see in you. What do you mean? He's not the child of prophecy. They too are. Have you not realized yet, Minato? The weakest that you considered is the strongest. So why can't he be the child of prophecy? And not like he doesn't have the abilities to do so. He alone can trample armies, as you said. And he alone possesses 3 Kikagenkais. Legendary Mokutan that was able to subdue us all Bijus. The ice release as well as lava release. As everyone then realized that Naruto really was the child of prophecy that the prophecy indicated about. We made a grave mistake. Mistake or not, that doesn't concern me. What concerns me is that these people will target my Nissan and Nissan. Even if they have distanced themselves. I can see why they did that, to be honest. So I don't hate them. But you two? I don't know what to feel about you two. Naruto said, looking at his parents. All these years you tried to sweet talk me into quitting a shinobi, quitting my dreams. But in reality you just didn't want it to teach me anything. Thinking that I might be a burden, isn't that right? No, son. Why do we, then why? We didn't have time, son, said Kushina, admittingly. We didn't have time. The time was short and the prophecy needed to be fulfilled, so we focused everything we had on both Mito and Menma. We thought that you would understand. We never thought that this would happen. And in the end it did, didn't it? As Jiraiya said, you know, I was the one who might have told you to focus on the other two, but I didn't mean that you could outright ignore the third one. Kushina, I didn't expect this from you, and Minato, you just broke my heart. Come on. How can you ignore one of your own kid after knowing how it feels like to be an orphan, isolating him while having a family? You know how much it hurts? As Minato looked down, as for the siblings, they then realized that Naruto knew. He wasn't just an innocent kid as they thought. He was able to grasp what was going on and has our gang for realizing what was going on around him. As Naruto then said, looking towards Jiraiya, do you know where their hideout is? Well, there has been rumors that they are mostly sighted in Amegakure. How about we go and pay them a visit then? You're not going, Naruto. It is dangerous. I can't allow you to go there. With all due respect, Hokage-sama, I have to do this. Not because I'm loyal to this village, but because of what Kyuubi has told me. And since he, too, is a part of this village, it is my obligation to not only protect it, as well as my siblings, but the others too out there as well, who are his siblings. Thank you, Naruto. Thank you so much. As after that we see Naruto with Jiraiya left, and left nothing more than destruction in Amegakure, destroying each and every one of the Akatsuki members, until Zetsu is the only one who remained. You are nothing more than The wrong shinobi history that I wrote with my own hands. What makes you think that a few more years I won't be able to do the same? Because I won't allow this. Mixing and combining his Kakegenkas of snow and lava release, he was able to create a magma. And that magma was so hot that it was able to burn and freeze at the same moment, turning anything in its path into ash like stones. And that is what happened to Zetsu, as his screams muffled, turning him into a stone. And with a single swipe of his kunai, he turned into ash and fell down to the ground. As whole Amegakure was shook, as smokes were rising everywhere. As they killed the Katsuki members laid there, as Jiraiden said, "You know, kid, you did good today. But what about the peace? I could care less about it. The world as we know it, Jiraiya, can never be at peace. To balance out the scale, as their lightning exists, shadows must also exist to balance out the scale of life. So we can never tip it over, imbalancing it, because that will be catastrophic. And that is why, if there is an imbalance in power, we will act only then. Aside from that, no. Let things remain as they are." As that is when Jiraiya realized the true meaning behind the prophecy. It was to keep check of everything and keep sure the scale between light and darkness was in balance, perfect sync, and never tipping over to the either side. Alright, Naruto. Alright. As after that, the tales of Naruto being Firefly spread out through the whole elemental nation, and how he destroyed Akatsuki, whose plan was nothing short of taking over the whole world with the 9 Bijus and reviving the 10 tails. As the Kages were happy about him, and even called him honorary part of their village as an honor. And not only that, his own village now respected him, which Naruto never cared about, to be honest, because they were the ones who ignored him at first, and now seeing his worth, they wanted to get a piece of that. So yeah, no, he was happy the way he was. And as for his relationship with his siblings, they tend to turn over a new leaf and were able to get close once more after a heartfelt reunion and breaking down the wall between them that they had placed because of their worries and fears and guilt. And as for the manipulative parents, as they were labeled, they now suffered isolation on their own from their own kids. And that hurt more than any of the wounds they have ever received in their whole shinobi career. Now understanding fully what might have Naruto suffered, or even worse. And as for Naruto, he was finally happy that he was able to help in any way he could. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this story off, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. And yeah, as you guys can see from my voice, yeah, I'm still sick somewhat, so yeah, I hope you don't mind the story and enjoy it. Anyways, this is Apollo Uchiha, and I'm signing off for the day. Peace.